All right, so 2016, 2017, something like that. Toyota Tundra, and it's a battery parasitic drain. Now, I don't really like these ones because I either got to unscrew these and disconnect them so that they will think that the door's shut. And I just don't like taking those things out because sometimes there's not that much room or length of wire on the connector, and I'm always worried it's going to fall down in there, and I got to worry about fishing it out. I'm not a mechanic. I don't have all these mechanic tools, to do this type of stuff. But parasitic drain, and supposedly it kills the battery like every 3 days. Who wants to take a guess? Bet you it's the radio, but I definitely could be wrong. Let's go ahead and find out. Let's get started. Let me grab some stuff. The way I like to do it actually is I like to use an amp clamp. The amp clamp is my favorite tool for battery parasitic drains. And the hood does not stay up by itself. Go figure, right? Vehicle owners don't work on their own cars, so they don't care that the hood doesn't stay up. Fantastic. So I gotta get something to hold this up. But it's got a new battery, Optimo. That's good. Everything's nice and tight. We do have 2 ground wires coming off the battery. We have the big or smaller ground here for the body. And then I assume that this one down here is for the engine. And then we have probably a body power. It goes to this fuse box, and then a engine starter wire, I assume. It's got the 5.7 in it, the big boy motor. So let me grab the amp clamp and the lap scope. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm a dual purpose type of guy, being mobile. My umbrella is my hood prop. Let's see here. The lab scope is on very low. I can't even see it at all. Let me see, how can we get this brighter? It's got to be brighter. Brightness level. Turn it up, baby. Turn it up. Okay. All right, now we're kind of bright. All right, we're on our blue channel. It's not going to be 20 volts. How we're going to set it up, right, is it's going to be 100 milliamps. So 100 millivolts is an amp. 100 millivolts is an amp. So we're going to put this on the 100 millivolt scale right here. And then I like to have time on my window, like we can do a second per division. That way it goes by a little bit slower. We're going to drop it down. And now we can see that the scaling shows 160 millivolts. This is ground. All right, let's see here. Let's get going. So I'm going to zero it. So I open it up like so. Then I hit this button. I always like to hit it twice. And I make sure that we're at 0. I'm going to go ahead and clean this signal up a little bit. Low pass filtering, turn on our filter so that we got a little bit of a finer signal. And I bring my trace down so I know what the 0 is, because sometimes the 0 can be offset. So anyways, there's an arrow, as we can see right here, pointing towards the direction of the current flow. So we know that the current flows from the body to the battery on the negative side. So we're going to go ahead and measure it here like so. And look at what we got. We got a good bit of current going there with some noise. Now that is, how much is this? About 54.19 millivolts is what we got. So it's close to the 60, but it's 54.19. So that's 540 milliamps, right? That's the conversion, because 100 millivolts is 1 amp. So 540 millivolts is 540 milliamps, sorry. So next, I could check the one that's going to the engine, right? I might as well. Let's check that ground. I'm gonna have to flip it around so that we can get here like so. And we do have a little bit of a draw right here. Now that's kind of strange because if that does go to the engine, which I'm going to check a wiring diagram, but if that does go to the engine, there should be no draw at all. So it hasn't even been, 10 or 15 minutes yet. I don't know what the required wait time is on this vehicle for it to go to sleep. And I don't even know if it will go to sleep with the door open like that. So let's get out the laptop. To answer my question, no, it won't go to sleep. It shows that the door is open. So plan of attack must be first that we're going to go to diagrams. Let's see here if we can find doors. I don't remember how this works. Power locks. Body control module, anti-theft and alarm, forced entry. That may be what we need here. Yeah, I think it's these. So basically, let me see here. Oh boy. So there is a under hood courtesy switch, center front of engine compartment. Where is that located? Oh, it does have it. There's a wire down there. There is the wire down there. So we're going to go ahead and latch the hood. If I can, I don't know if I can. That's difficult to latch shut. All right, so there's the hood that we should probably try and latch. Who uses right side of the engine compartment for a ground. Then we have left front door courtesy switch, left B pillar, right C, right B. Oh, sorry. Then we have left front door courtesy switch, right front, right rear. I'm sure left rear is somewhere out here. It's got to be. I could find it if I wanted to, but I don't really care right this moment. So anyways, you see that they're normally open and they connect to ground. So if I unplug it, we don't have to worry about it. So that's what we're going to do. Screws out, but you see here what I'm talking about, like this thing barely pulls out. Got to unplug it. Come on. A little tricky to do single-handed. There we go. And look, it's wanting to suck itself back in just naturally. Do not like that. But look at that. It thinks that the door is shut. So we'll start there. Hopefully I won't have to open any other doors. And the truck can go to sleep. And my Autel has frozen. Fantastic. These are the things that happen when your device is not up to date. All of a sudden it starts to not function properly. It's like a timer that they set in the tool. We are going to have to wait for this thing to go to sleep, but with the door shut, currently we have 60 milliamps on this larger cable. Now let's move cables and try this one here. And we still have a lot more amperage on this one, 260 milliamps. Okay, so that's definitely too high. We're gonna let this go to sleep, but meantime, let's check some wiring diagrams. All right, so what I want to look at is the power and ground distribution. I am going aftermarket. There are pros and cons to this. I like how on the aftermarket diagrams, they will put, I mean, granted it's a lot, it's all on this page though, so I can quickly navigate through. And what I'm looking for is the main batteries, powers and grounds. So where is the battery? See if we can find the battery. Normally the battery is a certain type of symbol. I do not see that certain type of symbol. Let's see here. Go figure, right? I was hoping that there would be two, grounds coming off of the battery, but they don't seem to be showing us that. Now, there's a chance that I'm missing it and it says battery, but I just don't think so. Definitely a chance. All right. That was primarily a waste. Let's go to starting and charging real quick. Starting. They're not going to show us anything. The battery just goes straight to ground is all they show us. Fantastic. Okay. So what may be necessary is that we use we check the power wires. Power wires are always thicker, and my snap-on amp clamp, the jaw is not that large. So it always makes it a little more tricky for me, but that's what we're here to do. So let's get that thing lined back up. I like to have it really lined up perfect. And we can change our scaling here. I want to do 50 millivolts. That way I can get a little bit better, picture of where I'm actually at. So my zero here currently is 11.69 millivolts. So you can see that it's slightly off of zero technically. So our arrow is going to be facing away because we're doing the battery positive. And we can see that there is a whole lot of data or power being drawn, 357. So that's 350 milliamps. That's a ton. That is a ton. We're probably going to start there. Now, I do want to let this thing go to sleep for a few minutes. Now that I got the door shut. But I assume that we're going to have some voltage drop. So let me see if I can get my amp hound. This is the amp hound. This tool is fantastic in my opinion. I first saw Joe Cashy, if I'm saying his last name correctly, use this over at Joe's Auto Electric. Dude's fantastic. And ever since then, I bought it, and dude, let me tell you something. It's great. Granted, I did have to open the box up and tighten these lugs. They were loose at one point in time. I thought it was a broken tool, but nope. Tightened them up and everything was good. But you just select your fuse type, which we have all these type of fuses, and you can see people have been popping off here and whatever. But it doesn't do JK's fuses, unfortunately, but it kind of does. It doesn't have a setting for them, but it still kind of works. So we're gonna go with our minis, and then we're gonna select, we're gonna go with 10 amps. No, we'll go 7.5 first. We'll start at 7.5. Oh, I just heard a click. Something just clicked, and this is going to be extremely hard to see. but our amperage is through the roof, I guess. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. You guys can see that. Something just clicked on and then clicked off. Shot up around 3 amps. That's incredible. And now we're up around 700 amps right now. I don't know what it was that did that, but something did turn on and it was drawing incredible amperage. So here we have no draw, and you just run through and check them all. And when it beeps like that, that tells you that there is some amperage flowing across. Now, I don't really pay too much attention to how much amperage it states is flowing across unless the number is huge. If the number is huge, then yeah, I'll be like, okay, we need to investigate here. But for the most part, I just concern myself with which ones are flowing current at all. And you just run through and check each of the fuses that you have. You know, I got it on setting 10. Go through and check all the 10s. Now we're going to switch to 15. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to find some serious ones. One of the 7.5 amps down here had 60 milliamps. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for real power here. So we're on the 20 amp fuses. Look, here we go. 280 is what it says. So that one is that one's right there where we need to be. 280. Use 25. I'm going to skip these 15s. Still they had nothing. Now we're going to go to the 30s. And you don't have to be under the right scaling to check any of these fuses. It'll still beep if there's current flow, but it just gives you an incorrect reading. You know, so what we're doing is looking for the proper reading. So it can check these too, but it doesn't give you the proper reading. So pretty much, let's go and find out where that 280 was. I think that was a 20 amp fuse. Not 100% sure. Let's go back through and see. Yeah. So on this 20 amp fuse here, we have a reading of 280, 270. So we're going to start with that. Let's see what fuse that is and where does it take us. All right. 1, 2. Okay. So it's we got 7.5, 7.5, 20. Which is radio. That's what I figured. You can't see that at all. It says radio number 1. Bam. I figured as much. So we're still really high here on the draw, over 700 milliamps. We are going to have to take this radio out. That's goal number 1. I'm going to unplug this radio and see how much of that draw goes away. Real quick. Since we have 700 on this power wire, I want to come back over here. And you know what might have happened? That's what I was wondering. The scaling got messed up. When I had that massive spike, it messed up my scaling. So now my 0 is 300 300 millivolts, which is milliamps. So what you have to do is go ahead and zero it. But now we're down here on our 0. I like to open it up, 0 it, and then I'll come back onto our larger one here, and there we go. Instead of being at 700, we're back down to 300. Well, a little bit higher than 300. 350. Okay, let's go ahead and unplug that radio, because 350 is close to the 280. There's some other things that are on possibly in drawing current, because if the radio's on, it could be lighting up other things, like maybe the speakers or something like that, and it's, I don't know. That what I just said didn't make sense, but there are other things that could be on. I've seen plenty of times where one main draw can have current flowing through other fuses. So yeah, let's get the radio out. Now, what does SI say about the radio? Let's go over here, type in radio. (2019) column shift. I think we had a floor shifter. Removal. Yep, floor shift. All right, where are we at? Move the shift lever. Oh my gosh. Remove the upper console panel. Holy smokes. That's going to be a lot of work. What's the labor time on that, huh? Radio, stereo, parts and labor. An hour? That's it? Oh man. Just an hour? It's going to take me every bit of 30 minutes to take that thing out. I am slow at flat rate. Let me tell you what. All right, so where are we at? What are we doing? Oh, I want to go to diagrams. I'm going to go to the radio diagram with built-in amplifier with JBL. Let's see if we got JBL. I don't see JBL on that speaker. I don't see JBL anywhere on there. We're for sure without JBL, but I don't know how the amplifier is. Let's try it 2 different ways, shall we? Where's that 20 amp fuse? Here's a 10, a 7.5, 7.5, 5. Radio 1, 20 amp fuse right here. Bingo. So pretty much that's what we're looking for. Like I said, there are some other fuses. But let's go with the radio. Let's get this thing out of here. I want to remove it. What we're going to do is we're going to go to boom, boom. We're going to open these pages or open tabs up individually so that I have step by step and I'm not clicking and doing all these different things trying to figure out how to take this vehicle apart. Look at all this madness that you have to do. Holy smokes. Straight up madness, everybody. Oh my gosh, they pay an hour for this? Oh my gosh. All right, it's gonna take me forever. Move upper console, move shift lever knob sub-assembly. Shift lever knob sub-assembly. So it's just this portion here with the shift lever knob for whatever reason. All right, let's get going. Okay, and this thing's all cracked up here, so that's fantastic. But look at this. It just unscrews like so, and it's off. Okay, cool. Now Let's see what kind of magic we can't work out here with this bad mamma jamma without destroying it. That doesn't come off. It's this entire piece. Okay. I see. Pop up. Come on, Padre. Okay, that's off. What's next? Upper console panel subassembly. Upper console panel subassembly. I did that. Air conditioning control assembly. Why did it have me take this out? Okay, I feel like a dummy right now because that definitely was not necessary. Let's just pop this thing out. Right? Yeah. Let's just pop this thing out. I don't know why it had me do that. I don't know. Somebody's already been here, it looks like. Does that come out? No. Yeah, somebody's already done popped this thing out. Let me see. There are definitely tabs to pull this out. I have no clue what I'm doing. No clue. 4 bolts. It shows 4 bolts. So perhaps that's what it's trying to get me to remove. I don't know. Maybe you got to get this out of your way. I think you got to remove these AC brackets first. I don't know. Okay. Just, force it in there as hard as you can. And that should work. We got the top portion. Oh, I think it's all. All right, we've got 2 10mm down here. Let's go ahead and take those out. One. Two. See the 1, 2. Now is there more? Oh, there is more. So I'm straight in the back. So hot, my camera screen had to turn off. I mean, it's a scorcher in here, man. I got the windows up, the doors are closed, and the sun is coming through. Holy smokes. Let me tell you what. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get the Altel tablet so we can see what's going on. First, I gotta let the camera cool down. Dang, I totally missed it. I didn't get it on camera. We're down to 0. I snatched the radio out. Oh, look, here we go. Now it's higher up again. All right, thank goodness. And that's for me, look, jiggling it around. The radio is the culprit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug the radio if I can. If I can get it out. Let's flip it up here. That's rather dusty. Yeah, so let's see here. Is it? Sorry. It ain't none of this, I can tell you that. It's absolutely the radio. I'm just gonna unplug it completely. Man. You know, doing this stuff with one hand, it makes it so much trickier. I had no idea. All right, so the power wires are out. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this thing hang out for a while. We're gonna run some checks. So we're gonna take this off. We're gonna 0 it again. Right, so we're down there at ground. Back on, no draw. We're gonna come over here. Do we have a draw? No draw. Now we're gonna come back to our ground here. Look, no draw. Absolutely, the radio is the culprit, guys. So pretty much this is gonna be the win. There was something going on. Something did turn on. I heard some relays turn on and the voltage, or the amperage spiked up drastically to 3 amps. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang out and wait here and see if that happens again. But if it does not, because it may have been happening because the radio was awake, right? It could have been an amplifier, it could have been, there's no telling what was going on really. But I know that the draw was in the radio. Some guys like to do this thing with thermal imagers and whatnot, where they come into a cold shop and then they're able to use their thermal imager and see that the radio's on. That is a pretty good technique. If you can come into a cold shop first thing in the morning, you know, or you live in a cold environment, but where I'm at, it's like smoking hot in Florida. And I don't know if that will work very well, especially when the vehicles are outside all the time for me, everywhere I go, darn near. It doesn't matter if it's at a great shop or a not so great shop, the vehicle is just outside because they're done with it, right? They get it out the shop because they're done with it. Now, one of the downfalls with the thermal imager, in my opinion, is that what can happen is that multiple things are being kept awake and the radio is awake, but yet maybe it's the amplifier keeping the radio awake and not vice versa. So then you get burned on that. So it's always better, in my opinion, to do it this way. I have pretty good accuracy, and I'm not saying that the other way isn't that great because I haven't tried it too much. So anyways, I'm gonna call this a win for now. If it comes back alive, then we'll continue the video. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time.